Alright, so today I have a battle against a guy who wanted a battle against me for a little while, and he eventually connected to me on my Discord, so make sure you check that out. This is against Samurai Jack, and you might recognize his name. He's battled a lot of different YouTubers in the past. I'm not sure if he does his own YouTube stuff, but he seems like a pretty cool guy, so we're going to give him a match here. And yeah, this is an NU match, never used, so you're definitely going to be using some Pokemon that you don't see very often, and that's the idea of the tier. And yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and lead with Steelix, as he leads with Druddigon, and we both kind of going to do the same thing on turn 1, and that's just Stealth Rock, so I'm not really convinced he has a whole lot to do to me. Now, he could have a fire move, I mean, up his sleeve or something, but I really don't think he does, and I decided to Heavy Slam, because a common Druddigon set typically does nothing to do to me, so I decided to do that predicting a switch. Instead, he stays in because he does have the rough skin and, of course, the Rocky Helmet, so he knows he can do some damage with that, and instead just phase me, so whatever. Seem to be doing about the same amount of damage to each other. I end up getting phased now into Rotom, and I decide to go for the trick, knowing that it'll probably cripple this guy, and I'll just go ahead and give him my Choice Scarf, so he's locked into whatever he does. And he tries to Glare, which is not going to do anything to me. I don't know if he's predicting a switch, or just kind of derped there, but yeah, you can't paralyze a electric type in this generation. So I'm just going to go for a Leaf Storm. He ends up just going out into his Mismagius, and that's going to absolutely destroy it, because obviously it's a really powerful move, and he doesn't have any boosts, so that's going to be doing quite a bit. As now I'm just going to go ahead and Volt Switch as he damages me with a move that I didn't even know existed in Mystical Fire. Like, since when does Mismagius have a fire move? Gosh, give me my Gen 4 back, God. Alright, well, in comes my Golbat now, as he just goes into Minior, and I know this is not a great matchup, and he's probably going to try to set up, but I figure this is a pretty decent time to try to defog, get rid of the Stealth Rocks, because it hurts me more than it does him. And what this will also do, if this guy's carrying a White Herb, it's going to waste it right here, and I'm actually pretty proud of this play, because he does indeed carry the White Herb, so at the very least, while he can get the Shell Smash off, he wasted it there getting his Evasion back, of all things, and now he's going to have to deal with lower defenses, which is good for me in the long run. Now, I don't really have a good switch in here, because no matter what he does, he's going to do a lot of damage to whatever. So I decided just to sack Golbat here. I don't really have a whole lot to do, and I end up actually living a hit thanks to my Eviolite, and I'm actually doing decent damage with a resisted Brave Bird due to the negative defenses he has now due to the Shell Smash. It will activate his shields down, however, which lowers his defenses further and I believe increases his attacking stats. But that's fine because I have Emboar, and he pretty much has to attack me. And I have Sucker Punch, and this is a Choice Banded Emboar. And yeah, it's going to obviously be able to KO and finish off the Minior. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with how I played that, despite having the matchup disadvantage with Golbat. So yeah, in comes his Dodrio, and I'm kind of expecting a Bandit set. I go into Steelix. I don't think there's a whole lot he can do to me, and he is going to go ahead and activate his Z-Stone, so it's not Banded, but obviously he can still hit very hard, and he actually, I believe, is Flyneum Z, so he's going to be able to get off that Supersonic Sky Strike. Unfortunately for him, I resist that, and Steelix has like a million defense, so even though this is a powered-up Z move, it's still not going to hurt Steelix that much, and that just shows you the overwhelming defensive stat of Steelix, not to mention the excellent typing. Especially against flying Pokemon. So off he goes. He goes into his Jellicent now, as I just go for the Stealth Rock again. And that's the other reason I did, is because I can usually Stealth Rock again. While he still has Druddigon, it's going to lock himself into Stealth Rock, which obviously leaves him open to me trying to set up on something else. So that's a good move for me there, and I'm just going to go into my Emboar again, which might seem weird to you because he's probably going to Scald. However, I know that I can live at least one Scald. He can't burn me. And I do have Wild Charge on this guy, so even if he does try to go for, like, the Recover or something, pretty confident I can do a lot of damage to it anyway. And he actually surprises me, having the Rocky Helmet on this Jellicent, too, which is actually going to end up getting me killed. He does go for the Skull trying to 2-hit KO, but that's obviously not going to make its mark, so it gives me a switch here into Rotom. And this time I decide just to go for the Thunderbolt because I just want to kill it and not necessarily give him another switch advantage here, although he's just going to go out on his own Emboar. And I'm kind of worried about Sucker Punch being on this guy. Which is also a shiny Emboar. I'm actually not a fan of shiny Emboar, but mine is, and I don't remember why I made it shiny. I think I have one that's shiny and one that's not, and it's to denote it's set. But kind of funny we're both using shiny Emboar here. As he just goes for a Flare Blitz as I go into Jellicent, which is good for me, because that's what I was kind of hoping for, either that or a fighting move. And even though it does do a lot of damage because of, you know, Choice Band Emboar, and I'm assuming his is Choice Band as well, does a lot of damage, but I resist that, so At least there's that. So in comes Drudgegon again. I believe I just go for a recover, and now I'm at full health, and it's really his move. I don't know what he's going to try to lock himself into, but I'm pretty confident he can't do anything to me, and he is going to try to go ahead and set up his own Stealth Rock again, so there you go. And I'm just going to go ahead and Will-O-Wisp, which is a good play because we'll get the residual damage on the Drudgegon, and any physical moves that he has will obviously no longer do damage, so it effectively cripples this Drudgegon, and I don't really have to worry about it being Choice Scarfed and potentially doing some damage, so that's not so bad. And in comes Emboar again, as I decide to go for a Scald, so that was a pretty great switch for me, and that's going to be able to tank out his Emboar right like that. He was probably hoping to Wild Charge me or something, and instead he just dies. And yeah, he's going to be able to go out into his Dodrio, though, which we already saw was a Flynium Z set, and he actually pairs it up with a Swords Dance, so now we have this guy who's potentially threatening, but I did decide just to stay in and Will-O-Wisp. Now his two remaining Pokemon are burned, and they're both physical, so I'm pretty confident that I can just win here, although if he gets another Swords Dance off, and I don't kill him, he could potentially still be dangerous, so I decided just to go for the Scald. I know that it'll do decent damage. Dodurio's defenses are not great, and it nearly kills it, and now he's in a position that he has to attack me. He does have a little more than normal attack now, despite the burn because of his two Swords Dances. So he can actually hit pretty hard here with a Brave Bird. Not quite hard enough to kill the bulky Jellicent, and even if he did, he's just going to take himself out to the Brave Bird. And of course, his last Pokemon is the Drudgegon, who is Choice Scarfed and has a burn on him, so there's really not a lot of hope for him left. And yeah, I just decide to let Jellicent die. He actually ends up Sucker Punching me, and yeah, locking himself into Sucker Punch, where obviously the very worst allow me to outmaneuver him because I can just not use attacking moves. But instead I just go to Braviary, which is my last Pokemon. I hadn't gotten Knitting yet, and I'm pretty sure he won't die to a single Sucker Punch, and I can just go ahead and finish him off. I believe I just brought a Choice Scarf set. Might have been a Choice Band set. I don't remember. So it's a Choice something set. Takes out the Drudgegon with the, Brave Bird, so there's that, and I don't take much from the Sucker Punch. Especially after the bird. So good game there, Samurai Jack. Hope to have another rematch at some point. And we're going to go into today's question of the day, and that will be, what is your favorite Pokemon to use Eviolite with? It's an item that obviously was introduced in Gen 5. I've asked this question before, but I don't think I've asked it in Gen 7 yet. I don't know if there's really a whole lot of Gen 7 Pokemon that are really candidates for Eviolite, but who knows? As for me, I mean, there's several good Pokemon that can take advantage of it, but nothing quite like Porygon 2, in my opinion. I always really liked Eviolite Porygon 2, but obviously, well, also Chansey, which is just an OU menace due to Eviolite, and kind of makes me want Eviolite to no longer be a thing sometimes, but there you go. I prefer Chansey to Blissey, because Blissey is fatter. And of course, you saw that I used Golbat with Eviolite in this battle to decent success. Golbat is another Pokemon that, was originally the final evolution of its, its chain, which gives it some advantages, and obviously tanks things very well with an Eviolite. So leave a comment about that, and see you guys again next time. Later.